President Obama's re-election campaign going after women voters, and how now? By capitalizing on the debate over the president's health care law, specifically the partisan battle over religious liberty and contraception coverage. Mary Catherine Ham is a Fox News contributor and writer for the Daily Caller, and Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. All right, so you knew it was going to happen, right? Because women, I mean, I don't even know if the voters, if the viewers have put it in their heads how women have been all over the news, right? We went from the Susan G. Komen Foundation thing to the debate over religious liberty, and that led to the contraception debate, and in came Sandra Fluke, and now we have, you know, an outreach to women by the White House. Women. Is this any accident, Mary Catherine?
No, it's not an accident. I mean, they're clearly a hugely important voting bloc, and that's just the bottom line. And everybody's going to be trying to win them. Obama is specifically taking these social issue discussions that we're having, a lot of the liberal groups helping out, and sort of turning this into the war on women discussion is what they want to have. But I would say that he's sort of oversimplifying when you want to go into these swing states and talk to women voters about the health care law, which remains fairly unpopular, 53% or so wanting it repealed. Even in swing states, as Obama's numbers go up, the health care program's numbers go down. So I'm not sure that that's the winning issue that he wants to communicate to them. When you have these house parties, which I've attended sometimes, talking about these health care laws, you get a lot of people very confused, a lot of liberals mad because he did all these deals with the pharma companies, and I'm not sure it's the clean message he's looking for.
People are having house parties to talk about the health care law? Is that what you're saying?
That's what he wants. They rock.
Leslie, now you are a Democrat. Are you going to a house party to talk about the health care law?
Well, maybe I should try those because I'm skipping the Botox parties that they have out here, ladies. You know, maybe that would be a different side of the health care issue.
That's the health
and by the way, the health care plan does not cover Botox because you know I'm going to get an email on that later.
You better get somebody to testify before Congress.
Well, the bottom line here is that the president has done well and did in the 2008 election with female voters. Actually, although it looks like, precarious timing on this, the president and clearly the administration has stated they've had this planned for a while. What's been going on in the media hasn't hurt the situation any. Although, yes, I agree with Mary Catherine regarding health care and some of the numbers overall. When we look at the specifics of contraceptives and when we look at the numbers of women, regardless of religion, Catholic women included, who continue to use or have used contraceptive at one time, this is something that he's really taking a hold of. He has a double-digit lead over Mitt Romney with women, and Romney does very well compared to the other Republicans with women. And I think it's smart for him to do, quite frankly, to hold on to this, especially right now with gas prices have just gone up, what, 3 cents? Yeah, hold on to the women.
Hold on to the women. Now, the numbers do support that the president is doing better with women than he had been doing, Mary Catherine, and the Democrats have been sounding this war on women, you know, argument. But I want to ask you about a point that I discussed with O'Reilly the other night, which was could making Sandra Fluke, I don't know how you pronounce it, quite frankly, Fluke or Fluck, the face of his health care law right now, recently, right? Because that's how they've touted her out. Could making her the face of that hurt not only the approval of this law, but the president's approval rating? Because remember, look at this split screen. When he signed that law, we saw the little boy who was going to get health care coverage, who didn't have it. And I think Americans looked at the little boy and say, okay, that's somebody I want to help. Do they look at Sandra Fluke and say, wait a minute, what is the health care law about?
Right. I think in the short term it probably helped because the conversation came about Sandra Fluke personally, and it should not have been about that. But when you look closer at her testimony, which is this part of the conversation we're getting to now, you find out that a month ago the left decided that it was tantamount to a violation of human rights if a woman had to pay a $10 a month copay for birth control. If you actually talk to women on that level and you explain that conversation, they say, well, I've been paying a copay for a long time. It's a predictable, relatively low expense, regular health care thing. I'm not sure why that has to be mandated, and conservatives have consistently won the fight over mandates. As long as the fight goes on, you continue to explain, look, this is the government forcing people to do this, taking away an economic and a religious freedom to make this decision. And Americans tend to change their minds, as they have on the healthcare mandate, which is 72% against right now.
Yeah, you got the little boy who needs the healthcare coverage, and you get Sandra Fluke, who's you know, the average Georgetown Law School graduate makes $160,000 in their first year of law school. $160,000 in their first year of law school. So it's tough to look at somebody like that and say, I really want to help her out financially. But Leslie, let me ask you, the war on women, even though it's resonating with the voters right now, apparently, does that withstand the test of time? Or do women go into the voting box in November and just say, the economy's doing well and getting better, I'm going with the incumbent, or it's doing poorly and I don't believe it's getting better, I'm going with the challenger?
Well, you know that a week in politics, Meg, and Catherine, you know this too, is a lifetime. You know, what's going to happen with Syria? What's going to happen with Iran? We just saw, you know, missiles in Israel. Certainly we as Americans can be diverted and lose our attention on something fast. So I wouldn't doubt if this loses a bit of momentum, if the economy does really well or really poorly between now and November. That is the #1 issue, the economy, on all Americans' minds. But women are banding together as a gender, I believe, regardless of ideology on this issue, even if we don't agree 100% on this issue.
I mean, listen, if you show up at a party and they start, you know, handing out little PUPACA pamphlets, right? Isn't that the acronym for the President of Healthcare? Run! Get out! You have better things to do with your time.
Party. You need several drinks for that party.
Right.
But it'll be in a Tupperware container, ladies, okay? So it'll be all right.
Tupper hello and a Tupper goodbye to both of you. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks.
Thanks, Meg.